Well, Lee was said yesterday that even Newcastle couldn't make a mess of the game with the Belgians last night. But having said that, it wasn't very good, was it?
No, I mean, I don't think they made a mess of it. They just didn't make a good job of it. They didn't concede. Got the goal that takes them through. Adds to the 3 goals over there. 4-1 on aggregate. Overall, professional job, but not sparkling.
I mean, Omar Martins scored the only goal of the game, and I've got to say, before he scored it, I thought he was the worst man on the field. I mean, they brought Luque off, and Luque had every right to say, well, he's just as bad as me, why aren't you bringing him off? But as it happens, Luque couldn't get off quick enough, and Martins looked a different player after he scored the goal. And I mean, as we were saying in the Chronicle tonight, he's got 14 goals, which is as many as Shearer got last season.
That's right. He's got 4 in his last 4, and I thought he played well at Fulham. And on that day, I gave him man of the match, but Newcastle were poor side on that day, and he got the consolation goal, but he showed some good touches throughout. Since then, hasn't played brilliant, but he's still getting the goals, and I think any striker will tell you that. As long as you're getting the goals, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
That's what he's done. He's got as many as Shearer got last season, but as we were saying before, to balance it out, let's look at Alan Shearer and his first season at Newcastle. It took him to December the 28th, and he was on 14 goals, and he finished that season with 27.
Yes.
And he missed the whole of March, I think. So that 27 in your first season is what you should be aiming for, really.
I think at least Martin's goal last night gave the crowd something to cheer for. And I mean, it's a pity in a way. There was over 30,000 there, which amazed me. And a lot of them were people who don't normally see Newcastle, and I think they missed a good opportunity last night to send those people who don't normally see them, home happy and think we want to get back there.
Well, they wanted to put a good show on, really, and that didn't happen, as you say. The next round, it'll be interesting to see what the crowd is, because although AZ Alkmaar a decent team, I don't think it's, in terms of like top billing, I don't think it's like a sort of sexy football ties it really is at Alkmaar. I'm not 100% sure if they're up there with the Barcelona, Real Madrid's, Bayern Munich, teams like that. It's AZ Alkmaar, it's AZ Alkmaar really.
Well, you mentioned Barcelona there, of course. The Alkmaar manager Louis van Gaal was manager of Barcelona when our coach is the call.
That was the idea. It was like to link it all in,
Oh, sorry, Liam's a bit slow about it. When Newcastle beat Barcelona in the Champions League with that Tino Asprilla hat-trick. I mean, we had a bit thrust and parry last night. I wanted to go to Turkey and Fenerbahce, and you wanted to go to Holland. I think the reason I wanted to go to Fenerbahce, as I say, I'm just a kid from Consett, and I got this job. I'd never been out of County Durham apart from when I came across the Tyne Bridge. And, I've been to 34 countries with Newcastle, which is not supposedly a successful team, and I fancied Turkey, but I know you were more concerned, you were more selfish and thinking about yourself, weren't you?
Well, to be totally honest, I disagree. I think that you were trying not to go to Turkey because you're using reverse psychology in the press room before the game. And I think I seen your face when it was 2-0 to Fenerbahce, and it didn't look like a man who wanted to set foot in Turkey. And after that, you continued saying, "Yeah, I'm up for Istanbul," and I think secretly you were sucking that Alkmaar ball into the Fenerbahce net, and you eventually got your wish. So I'm not sure. I think Holland's a cushy little trip.
Well, I think you've got it wrong, because I've heard that we are big in Turkey. I've heard this broadcast goes all over the world, and we're quite big in Turkey.
Well,
one place where we're not big is Wigan, is where Newcastle's going on Sunday. I see. I was going to say that Louis van Gaal was a miserable so-and-so when he was here with Barcelona, but Paul Jewell was here. Was at St James's Park last night. The Wigan manager. I mean, he couldn't have been that impressed. I'm not. He left either just before or just after Martin's goal, but he couldn't have been impressed. I just think I thought Paul Jewell's done a fantastic job at Wigan, but he's got a bit too big for his boots lately, and I hope Newcastle panned him on Sunday.
Well, it'd be great to do it. Last season, really bad memories of Wigan. Both times, first one 1-0 in the league, and at that time I remember speaking to Shea Given after that game, and he was saying we shouldn't be getting beat off the likes of Wigan. Right. Well, that's true, and still is true, but last season Wigan had a fantastic season. Then you've got the Carling Cup game which was, you know, probably
Yeah.
the lowest point of last season. Well, one of the many
No,
low
no.
points.
It was a high point because it was the beginning of the end of Mr. Graham Souness.
Aye. Oh well. But I think it was 10,000 Geordies down there that night, and
I'm only joking. Yeah. No, I mean it was the
10,000
beginning of the end,
Geordies
but
expecting a cup run, and you know the Newcastle team picked by Graham Souness on that night could not even give Wigan Reserve a game. I think Shea Given had an absolute blinder. He got 10 out of 10, and he kept the score. Well, it was only 1-0, but he kept the score down on that night.
I remember Luke lumbering. It was then I think we realised how useless Luke was. If you remember, in the first minute of the Carling Cup tie, he was through. He had about 20-yard start on everybody, and the guy caught him up, if I remember rightly. And I think that was the night where we realised how useless Luke was. I mean, Glenn Road has actually got a couple of selection problems for once. Normally he's been down to the bare bones this season.
Well, what did he do at the centre defence? He's got Stephen Taylor, who's been solid. Titus Bramble, who's really been playing well the last few games, and he's got the decision to make. Does he bring Mr. Cooch back in?
I think he's got to against Heskey. You know, whatever we might say, I'm not a big fan of Heskey, but he is powerful in the air and powerful full stop. But I think they've got to bring Gucci back. The Shea Given, I mean, poor Steve Harper, he kept Newcastle's first clean sheet in 18 games. Wore the captain's armband, and then he came out last night and said he expected to be dropped on Sunday. But
yeah, it's a good chance to get 3 points. And my fear is now we're in Europe, we're getting to the later stages, is that we take our eye off the ball in the Premiership. That'd be disastrous because we're right in the middle of it, and you know, we could end up having a low finish if we go on a bad run. You know, there's only a few games left now, really, and finishing the bottom half will be disappointing now.
let's get 3 points on Saturday and then start thinking about Middlesbrough.